Hey guys, what's up? This is episode 5 of Just a Millennial. Today we're going to be talking about multitasking, and that's it. This is Mikey Okendo.
And Mike Cherub.
And intro.
I said that as a question, am I Mike, do I not know who I am?
I am.
I'm searching for my place in this life. Sarah Mclachlan song is playing now. Intro.
I hate her commercials too. I'm glad they're not on Hulu because that's
Sarah
the one.
Mclachlan is one of the sweetest souls, but just has the worst reputation ever.
Well, because she guilts you into it. She knows what she's doing.
Oh my gosh, it's so horrible. She's like, this dog that has like cigarette burn and 12 missing patches of fur and a broken leg and 4 broken ears and a cropped tail could be yours if you just stepped up and gave some money.
Right.
Welcome back from that intro, because I'm going to actually leave that in. This is Just a Millennial episode 5. I am Michael Cherub.
And this is Mikey Okendo. And that was a really interesting intro from the whole Sarah Mclachlan thing.
Seriously, Sarah Mclachlan, I can't say that I dislike you, but I sure as heck hate your commercials.
Well, no one likes them. I mean, they're really, they make you feel bad.
All of them do, and it's I hate being guilted. There's 2 things I hate when I'm looking at anything. I hate being guilted, and I hate being sold. Yeah. If you're trying to sell me, if I'm on the phone with you, there's no reason to sell me. I hate being sold. It drives me nuts, and I hate being guilted. Don't guilt me. Just knock that off.
Or the infomercials, for only $19.95, I'll send you, well, no, it's always for only 6 payments of $19.95, I'll send you this piece of plastic crap that will cut your apple into perfect slices. It's there's a whole litany of problems wrong with that, but I'm glad I don't see that, because I exclusively have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime, so I don't see any of those commercials anymore, which is fantastic.
May he rest in peace, but one of the worst people was Billy Mays.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy Mays here with... I don't even remember
I only have 1 volume, and it's really loud.
And super excited about OxyClean.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Actually, what we're doing right now is really relevant to today's topic.
We're trying to shoot a show, and we're also trying to talk about nonsense.
This is multitasking, and as you can see, it does absolutely no good at conveying legitimate points that you can understand as a viewer, which is a great way to prove our point in this show.
That's pretty accurate.
Because really, the point is that multitasking sucks. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Multitasking is... it's like that. It's like the pirate hook meme, Captain Hook. I'm sorry. It's like the Captain Hook meme. You keep using that word. I don't think you truly know what it means.
Yeah.
Well, what most people see as multitasking isn't actually multitasking. Multitasking is, if you break the word down, multiple tasking, doing multiple tasks at the same time.
Right.
It never works out that way. Only 2% of the world's population can actually functionally multitask. The rest of us, well...
we're just not wired that way.
We pretty much just have, I don't know if it's actually ADD or ADHD, but we're just able to jump from task to task really quickly.
But you're not really doing them at the same time.
No, you're not doing them at the same time. And that's what the actual word means, is doing multiple tasks at the same time, not splitting your focus 4 different ways incorrectly and becoming less effective. Because truthfully, that's one of the big things that we're going to hit on is multitasking, or what most people consider multitasking, actually becomes and makes you less effective and efficient as a worker for your company, wherever that be, vendor side, dealer side. You're much less... I mean, an example would be you trying to do a walk around and also calling an appointment to set up with somebody who's supposed to come in and buy a car from you. Would that really work? It wouldn't. Now, if you did the walk around and they stepped away from it to smoke a cigarette and you made that call really quick, you could do it, but you couldn't do them at the same time. You wouldn't be able to actually focus on the two different tasks at the same time in work.
You'd end up messing up words. You'd be like on the guy with the phone you're trying to set an appointment with, you'd be like, hey man, this is the executive package. I mean, geez, crap, I'm sorry. I need you to come in at 7, not you. And then it would just be a whole mess. That would be hilarious. I wonder if anyone's tried to do that.
Oh man, that would really be interesting. I think, I don't know, I was laughing because I saw Mike Davenport, Digital Dealer 20, double wrist watch. He has a standard watch on this wrist and then he's got his Apple Watch here. And I'm like,
wow. That's interesting.
I was like, I feel like you could just have the one. Like, Mike, if you're watching, just want to go with one. You don't need two. Commit to one. Just stop. You're holding on to the past, bro. Just you gotta let it go. Like Elsa, just let it go.
It's true. And along with lowering your overall quality of work and efficiency, and this is for management, for owners, for regular workers, this is for anybody. It doesn't matter what level you are. This is going to lower your overall quality of work and efficiency. The other thing it does too is it leaves you at the end of the day feeling like you got a lot done, but you also feel mentally exhausted. You know, you get to the end of the day and you get that feeling of like you just, if you wear glasses, you want to do what I just did, like you take them off and you just like rub your eyes and you think, oh gosh, I'm so exhausted. I mean, a lot of times I think we get to the point where we think that's good because we think we've done a lot. We think that our day's been productive because, well, if I'm not tired, that means I didn't put enough into it. You know, it's like when you were in high school and you played on some sort of a sports team and your coach always told you had to give 100%. And you know, if like I used to do cross country and soccer, some people did, you know, like track or whatever. But any type of sport where you literally cross the finish line, coach always says like the same motivational thing where he's like, look, if you cross that line and you have freaking any energy left, that means you didn't put your all into it. Like you should be exhausted when you cross the finish line. So we think that about work. Like at the end of the day, if you're not exhausted, that means you were lazy or you didn't put enough into it. But in reality, most of the time when you're exhausted at the end of the day mentally, it's because of the fact that you've been multitasking, which leaves you with the feeling of getting a lot done but not much is done. It also increases stress naturally because of a lot of weird sciencey things that are like boring and don't really want to get into it, but you can read them on your own. They're real, they're legitimate. It causes stress, just multitasking by itself. You feel like you get a lot done because you do a lot of little things and they add up in your brain and you feel like, oh, that's a lot of things, but a lot of them require no critical thinking, like checking notifications. You check your email, you check your social media, you check email again, you check your phone calls, you check your CRM, you know, you just do all these checks throughout the day that are little tasks that you know, sometimes you have to do them, but you don't have to do them as often as just sometimes we do them. And then you feel like, oh, I did a lot, but, you know, what'd you do that was of really importance, of weight, you know?
Substance, for that matter.
Like what Dave Anderson was talking about, a digital dealer.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a phenomenal thing. You know, you got to focus on the things that matter. That's what's going to get you to your KPIs, your key performance indicators in your business. That's what's going to make you hit your goals, not focusing on, you know, the crap that doesn't matter. So, but here's the thing. This isn't all bad, right? Like there are solutions to this. So if the reason this is a problem, I think that's pretty obvious. I don't really think we need to talk about that. You know, if you're a management and you're multitasking a lot, that's gonna spill down. You're gonna create unclear goals, unclear daily tasks, unclear everything for people working for you. If you're a regular, you know, salesperson, employee of any kind, if your manager is clear, they're going to get frustrated with you for multitasking because they know you're not getting stuff done. If they're also a multitasker and they're not very efficient, nobody's necessarily going to get mad at you maybe, but you're still causing yourself damage because you're causing yourself unnecessary mental stress, problems at work, all the things that frustrate yourself where you feel like unaccomplished and as if you're not getting anything important done. Well, it's because you're not, but there's a way to fix that. And that's why we're here.
Oh, yeah. We are here to change your life from top to bottom.
Yes.
Before we jump into the solutions, I had a couple other quick points that I wanted to throw in there. Number one, I can't say the full version of this quote, but it literally made both of us laugh.
That's a good quote.
I have to replace the very first word in this quote, but it should make you laugh because you can probably figure out what the first word actually is. The guy's name also makes us laugh because his name is Dick Masterson.
Well, it's a name.
I mean, call us childish, whatever. I don't care. It's still a funny name. But he actually, his quote was, "Screwing up two things at the same time isn't multitasking."
Yeah.
At all. And that's pretty true about a lot of people, because when you're not able to commit your full focus to one task, you're probably missing something somewhere. And the second one was in 2010. Now, this is in 2010 before like everything even was, I mean, iPhones, smartphones, Android, like it existed, but I feel like it has such a larger grip on people today, which I think is a big contributing factor to multitasking. And back in 2010, Harvard Business Review said multitasking leads to as much as a 40% drop in productivity and increased stress, and you lose 10% as a 10% drop in your IQ while you're doing the multitasking. Like,
that's a pretty big deal.
That's pretty significant.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants
that's
to drop
bad.
that. No, that's a really bad.
And it's bad for millennials too.
Oh my gosh.
I think one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this so much is because, like the show is titled, this is unbelievably relevant to the millennial demographic, because if you're trying to, and this is for people who are working for you, but again, this is like a lot of our topics, this relates not just to people who are working at your business, but also to people who are your customers who happen to be of this demographic, because they can get that they know when you're really not very efficient in your processes due to multitasking. They can kind of sense that through your actions, but this is especially important for people you're trying to hire and people who are actively working for you. Millennials hate the lack of clarity and feeling like when you come to work that you don't have anything of substance to do, because that is the result, as we've been talking about, of multitasking. You lose clarity, and then the things that you know you need to do are often unimportant, and that causes people to be disgruntled with their work and to then underperform. But just as Dave Anderson said, it doesn't necessarily mean that person is a crappy person who's working for you. Maybe they're demotivated for other reasons, which is what we're talking about. I had a quote here that was pretty funny too. It says, "Staying connected is now remarkably easy." Like with social media, we're just talking about checking all these notifications that we do. But as a result, getting anything of substance done is not easy.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah.
There are days, and this isn't a knock on our workplace. It's it's just the way that
happens everywhere.
IT flows.
Yeah.
There are days that I literally have to go into my studio, close the door, and literally put the recording or do not disturb sign up. Just so I can get work. Like, I know I have a really big project. Here's my timeline. I've got to get it done.
Yeah.
And I think one big thing, as far as a step in the right direction, because it's something that we definitely do, especially in our marketing team, is get a task manager.
Yeah.
There's so many out there. They're free. They work really well. Web-based, on your phone. I mean, for those of you that really want to go old school, you can get a day planner. My wife has one. It drives me nuts that she uses it. I'm like, I can give you 12 apps right now that'll do exactly what you need to do on your phone. She's like, I like it. I'm like,
that's
you know
fun.
what? It was funny. My protege in training, who I'm training up to work with me in the video side of things at the office, I was kind of laughing at him earlier today because he's like, "Oh, I think I'm just going to take notes on my iPhone." What is on my pants?
Uh-oh.
I have a pin mark on my pants.
Which is fine.
That's not good. Sorry, complete distraction. Welcome to ADHD. But he was talking to me today. He's like, "Yeah, I think I'm just going to take notes on my phone." I was like, I can't do that. Like, I know Chris at our office does it during meetings. He takes notes on his iPad. I usually
do that.
There's too much for me. There's too much of a need for, like, if I have my phone trying to take notes, it's too easy for me to jump back. Wow, that was really bad timing on my hiccup. But it's too easy for me to go from taking notes and paying attention to, let me go check Instagram really quick. Let's see if I posted anything funny in the past hour.
And that's part of what we're going to be talking about too. Keep in mind that we're going to get into a few potential solutions that you could potentially do for your business and for yourself to make yourself more organized. But all of these things are about knowing yourself. We talked in our last couple episodes about being self-aware, knowing you. Big part of this is, as we go through this list of potential things you can do to make yourself more focused throughout the day, understand you don't have to do every one of these. Not all of these are for you. You have to know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Like, I use my phone for notes because I don't usually check too many things on my phone. I don't really do. A lot of times I use it for notes and stuff like that. But like he said, he knows himself well enough to know that if he really wants to get a note put down and recorded and well taken without getting distracted, that he writes it down. So part of that, I mean, you guys have to think about and really be honest with yourself and know yourself before we start to get into this, to think, which one of these do I need to apply?
And I kind of jumped ahead of myself. Before you even get a task manager, I think something that I would probably be a lot of help is take over a week at the end of your workday. I know that nobody wants to get done with work, go home and do more work, but sit down and I want you to actually, and even if you do it, don't do it throughout your day because it's going to seem like an accomplishment. Do it when you get home, when you're tired. Like any sports coach will tell you, whenever you're tired, you have to keep pushing through because that's where you really start to expand yourself. Write down everything that you did. And then I want you to actually look at that list and highlight every single day the things that were actually something of substance that you did.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's mind-boggling how much we actually do. And you're like, wow, all I really did on like 5 of my tasks was respond to an important email. Like that's not that big a thing. You know, it's important for you to do those little things, but your brain starts to think those are great accomplishments. There are some days I come home and I actually have, my brain's over the years has like been tricked into thinking that multitasking is great. And I'll come home and I'm like, I really didn't do a lot. And then I sit there and think and I'm like, wait a minute. I finished 3 commercials for 3 different clients today, proofed those out, got approval on those. I also built 4 brand new intros. And it's like, and then you start to think like, well, I really did get a lot done.
Yeah.
They weren't a lot of tasks, but they were the things that mattered.
Yeah.
You know, there are some days, but it's the same way. There's some days that, you know, I come home and I feel mentally exhausted and I sit there and think back like, how did I let myself get so distracted today? Like, I think I got a lot done, but when I look at the grand scheme of it,
you feel more exhausted than you did the other day.
You feel more exhausted because you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go into work and I got to catch up. And all those things lead to you just being exasperated all the time, and it's horrible.
And most of the time, the stuff that stresses you out is the stuff that doesn't even matter that much. Like checking email is one thing, but keep in mind when we use the phrase checking email, we are not talking about by any means you interacting and genuinely engaging with your customer. That is important, but that is different from checking your email. Checking your email is when you know you're just going to get some notification from some marketing company or like a blog. Maybe it's a blog you like, but maybe it's one you don't need to read right now. Like that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. Like that's the kind of stuff. But
I'll tell you one of the biggest things, and I'm definitely not advocating this because I want everybody to go buy one, but I got an Apple Watch for Christmas, and I can tell you like me checking my phone throughout the day has gone down significantly during work because most of the time I would take my phone out, look at notifications, and all of a sudden I found myself on Twitter or on Instagram or on Vine. And it's like, you know, 3 minutes later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wasted time doing something that didn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, that has been a huge help because it's like, look at my wrist. I don't even care about that email. Oh, I actually have to type a paragraph back in this text message. Okay, let me text her that really quick. Lock, go back to work.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that's also important is we're not coming down on people who break away during their workday to either check their phone or check social. It's actually been proven that I remember you and I were talking about it one day. It's like 5 minutes every hour to hour and a half to like stop yourself from working.
Yes.
Break away and do something really quick.
It's actually good for your mind.
It's very good for your mind. It's just it's almost like a reset. It's like dieting. Dieting. They tell everybody. I know plenty of people that are dieting and they do it all the wrong ways. And I'm not telling people, look, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm still fat. I get it. But I've learned the ways that don't work. Eating utterly healthy throughout the week, nonstop 7 days straight is never going to work because your body gets used to it and eventually you're going to lose some weight, but you're eventually just going to plateau. They tell you have to eat one cheat meal, which is just one meal you know is bad. It doesn't have to be like super deep fried bacon wrapped in fried chicken, like,
but it's something really, really good.
Basically, it resets your body. Your body goes, oh, what do I do with all this extra crap? And your body suddenly goes, okay, they're eating clean again. I can burn off those calories.
You switch it up.
The same exact principle applies to that as it does to breaking away for 5 minutes from working. But that doesn't apply to multitasking. It's not multitasking to stop. You know, managers, I know it's something that, you know, we can do because we work in a fairly open environment. Yeah. You know, and we have a lot of trust in us, and they know that we get everything done. Right. But I mean, we do it all the time, whether that's like we stop and we just have a quick conversation about something completely nonsensical at work. And it's not just the two of us. There's at least 2 or 3 other people in our department that will come up and we'll just have these conversations. We go back to work and it's like,
That's fine.
You feel refreshed almost because it's like, especially for us staring at screens all day, it's like.
And you know what the biggest thing about that is? I feel like a lot of people may be watching and they think, well, yeah, but that sounds great. Take a couple minute break every once in a while, and do if you've never heard of it, do like a Pomodoro technique where you're doing a certain amount of tasks. You list out your day, you work hard for X amount of time, then you take a certain amount of time break, break, and you focus 100% of the time while you're working. Whatever it is you want to do. A lot of times people say like, oh yeah, that sounds great, but that's not reality, because in reality, what's going to happen is you're going to get a little lax on your sales guys or your F&I guys or whoever, and they already have a tendency to sometimes want to do what Alan Ram says and stand out by the point, smoking a cigarette, talking about the football game or Donald Trump or whatever. And they're just going to take way too long, and it's going to be 5 minutes, and it's going to turn into an hour, and then nothing's going to get done. But here's the real problem, and here's the solution to that objection. The solution is very simply accountability, and that sounds really straightforward. But in all seriousness, everyone who objects to that sort of thing, where you take a little break, is basically the reason is because they feel like they can't control it, but if they do that, then like what if they don't get all their stuff done? It's like, well, here's the simple solution. If you have a consistent culture of accountability where everyone knows what they need to do exactly, there are, as David Anderson says, there are some non-negotiables that every single person has at your business. Every single day you have non-negotiables. These have to get done. If these things don't get done, doesn't matter about anything else, if these things don't get done, there are consequences. There are problems you're gonna be sat down with, and it's gonna be addressed. It's not just gonna go by the wayside. If you have that kind of a culture, then if somebody takes a 5-minute break to shoot some crap and just talk about something with their colleague, it's not going to matter, because ultimately they know they have to get certain things done. They will get them done. If they don't get them done, they know that there will be consequences. And if that's followed through by the management, owners, whatever, then you're not going to have to worry about it, because ultimately, if people get done what you're paying them to get done, and maybe even above and beyond that, hopefully, but if people are getting done what they need to get done as set according to you, what you tell them they need, because you have to do that, then what does it matter? What does it matter if I take 5 minutes to talk to you about some freaking football game, if I get every single thing done that you need to get done and then some, and I do that, but the only way I'm going to do that, the only way I'm not going to take advantage of it, and I may not do that because I'm not that kind of person. I want to do stuff anyways, but I know that there are some people who will take advantage of it. But that person who normally would take advantage of it probably won't, because they know they're going to get fired, or they know that there's going to be some sort of a consequence that's going to be pretty big of a deal to them if they don't do their job, if they don't get the non-negotiables done. But you have to establish those, and if you do, this sort of thing isn't a big deal. It is pretty good.
Well, unfortunately, folks, my wrist was buzzing at me. I turned it off already.
Is it?
We are flat out of time. We have to get to going.
Well, let's do a quick rundown of these.
Something that I would definitely. Well, wait.
Well, here's just a few quick things. So obviously you heard us talking about this. Hopefully by now you've come to either understand why it's important, or you're going to tweet at us as why we're wrong and we're stupid and you completely disagree, either of which is fine. But for those of you who are on board with this and you are totally sold and you're like, yes, let's do this, I want to become more focused, here are a few real quick things we can run down to help you, little actionable takeaways that you can do starting right now, or tomorrow, depending on what time you're watching this, that you can do to make your day a little more focused and organized. And a lot of these are from different authors of different books, and they're really, really well thought out, so I encourage you to read them in more depth. But a quick rundown. So we're talking about emails. Do not check emails first thing in the morning or late at night. Do not. Do what he said. Make a plan. Every single day, go into your day, make a quick plan, go into that day, and don't check email as much as you can avoid it. I understand you may have to deal with customers, and of course you have to check those emails, but as much as possible, as much of the email doesn't matter, try to just avoid it. And then make a little schedule. Make a plan to, as often as you can, or as often as management lets you, or what, depending on what your position is, check your email on a schedule. Schedule it out for a specific time or a couple of times a day where you set aside that time specifically for that. You know when it is, and then you're not thinking about it any other time of the day.
Something to add to that really quick, in the morning, everybody has their morning routine. Everybody, they wake up, use the restroom, they plan out their clothing, or they just jump right in the shower, they do all this different thing.
Yeah.
Something I actually heard, way back in high school actually, was actually the best time of day to do the most intensive tasks is right after you wake up.
Yep.
Because it focuses your brain and it gets your brain in that mindset.
Yes.
Something I actually do every morning, and they're not difficult, and it's actually something I really enjoy doing, is I do a crossword every morning. It's literally 5 minutes, while I'm either getting ready to jump in the shower or whatever. It's normally less than 5 minutes, and it starts getting my brain thinking, in the morning. And it's something that's really simple, Sudoku, do a word search, just something where your brain is focused on actually working versus something monotonous as checking emails and your social notifications.
And not only that, but as you just said, your brain is working on full cylinders right at the start of the day. It is literally the best time of day for you to be doing anything. Even if you're not a morning person, I guarantee you that it is. Look, do the most important thing you can possibly do. If you can, if it's possible to do in the morning, do it in the morning. Because what happens to 90% of people out there, you get going, most people start their day checking email because they just want to start their day off easy and just ease into it. And then you ease into your day, you're doing two things. You're not dictating your own schedule, dictating your own day. You're not setting a plan. And you're also just letting everything happen to you. You get to the point where you need to get a certain thing done. You have time to do it really, but you just want to check emails at the start of the day. You don't do it, and then you figure, I'll do it right after this. And then you start getting pulled into meetings, and then you start getting pulled into, let's go to lunch, or some special event, so let's go to a longer lunch than usual, or ups walk in, whatever happens, and then at the end of the day, that one thing you needed to do didn't get done.
Absolutely.
Just do it when you walk in the door.
The next point is shut off instant notifications. On some of my stuff I can't necessarily get away with because we deal with a lot of direct messages with people for our shows and things like that.
Yeah.
But again, that's part of the reason why I love this investment, is because I can immediately look down at my watch and in less than a second swipe down and not even care about it or realize I do need to answer that. Yeah. So shut them off. And actually the next point actually goes directly and coincides with it, is set specific times throughout your day, that little 5-minute period, to check social media, to check your emails, to go through the stuff like that. Set times ahead of time. So, and that also, as weird as this sounds, the same thing applies to, I'm a smoker. I know that I can only go and smoke one time before lunch and one time after. So I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, it's getting close to that time for me. You know what? Let me finish this task and then I'll go do it.
Yes.
As bad as I know smoking is, let's not jump into that. I've heard it from every which way, trust me. But that little time period where you would do that is almost like a goal that you have to get to, but you have to get certain things done before you can get to it. It's like moving on to the next level in your day. It's like you defeat the boss, you get that little happy dance with victory music, and you get good.
Yes. The biggest thing is, too, the reason why you have to set this schedule, the reason why you have to do all this annoying stuff, the reason why you need to get a task and productivity tool like Asana, which is completely free. I recommend you using it to track your work and know exactly what you're doing. The reason this is all important is because of this stat right here. For workers who sit behind a computer or in front of a computer or whatever perspective you want to say, I say behind, some people say in front of a computer, but if you sit behind a computer, which most of us do, you do, I do, you probably do.
I sit in front of a computer. You can't sit behind a computer because if you're looking at the back of something, you're behind it, so you just literally be looking at an Apple logo all day.
That's true. So you sit in front of it then?
Yeah, for those of you that sit in front of a computer.
So for those of you who sit in front of a computer, here's a very real stat that you're welcome to look up and verify. For everyone who has that kind of a job, on average throughout the day, you're interrupted at least every 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes. And forfeit 28% of your day to just frivolous distractions. So here's the thing. This is important because every time you tell yourself you're going to get in, you're going to do it later, and you're just going to ease into the day. I think we all kind of know that that's not true, but this stat is proof that it is 100% not going to happen. And you probably know, you're probably thinking like, oh, every 3 minutes, that probably averages out to about what I experience every day. So how about this? Plan things out, everything. Manage them in something like Asana. Sign up for it now. It's free.
Or for that matter, Todoist. It's actually
Yes.
a free mobile app that's across every platform you can think of.
Exactly.
There's a plethora of other ones that you can think of. And not to cut you off, but we are literally right
We're
up
way
against
over,
it.
so we got to go.
Yeah. So on that note, I'm Mike Cherub. Stay tuned right after this wonderful little music bit for my Starbucks drink of the week.
Oh, that's right. That's going to be good.
It was quite scrumdiddlyumptious.
You don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it. On that note, I'm Mike Cherub.
And this is Mikey Okendo.
And we out, fam.
We are just millennials.
Or fam. So this week, my Starbucks drink of the week, Monster Mike's Starbucks drink of the week, which I'm starting now, is a venti green tea frappuccino with coconut milk, frappuccino chips, and light ice.
Wait, frappuccino chips?
Yep. I have no idea what they are, but they sounded good when I was on my phone ordering. And they,
What's a frappuccino chip?
you know what? If you know what a frappuccino chip is, tweet us. We're out.